I like to spend a lot of time, or let's put it this way, I end up spending a lot of time talking about various aspects of sales. But the one that comes up the most, or the one that requires, I think, where the most skill can really pay off is in being able to do discovery. And I've got a whole series of videos that I'm preparing around discovery and breaking down in the process. But I thought I'd spend a quick moment and just share a planning document that I have put together for a customer that may be useful for you as well, or some variation of it. And I'm going to include a link so you can actually grab this as a Google Doc and make it your own. Basically, when I think in terms of prepping for a call and getting ready to have a meeting, there are some basic details. There's the meeting prep itself, and then there's the post-meeting kind of summary stuff. And what I like to think about is who's in the meeting, obviously who the account is, and a little bit about any unique issues that someone may be having in the call. And you'll notice that I've got 3 attendees. If you got more than 3, you're starting to get into an unproductive meeting. You're not gonna get to learn as much. There's all sorts of dynamics involved, so that's the first thing you wanna wrestle with is how many people really have to be in the meeting? It's much more interesting to have a one-on-one conversation with someone than talk to a whole group of people because you're just not gonna learn as much. So then once you get to that, then the next thing to think about is what are the client's objectives? What are their expectations for the call, for the meeting? Can you lay them out? Can you be specific? What would be a successful outcome? Can you anticipate any of that? Can you do some homework before that to increase your odds that you're going to meet their client's objectives? And then are those objectives strategic or are they just tactical? And then how are you going to prepare to address them? So some of these questions are pretty self-explanatory, and how you fill them out and so forth is probably pretty standard stuff. But then the next thing, after you do that is what are your objectives? What's your primary objective to come out of this meeting? What's your secondary objective? And then how are you planning to make those things come to fruition? What can you do? What sorts of questions can you have in place and think about the order of things to get you the sort of conversation you want? This becomes second nature over time, but it's still nice to have this document as just a reminder of the steps, the things you might think about so you don't miss a step. The next thing is, what do you want to try and get out of this meeting to cause the next event in the sales process? Where can you find that stuff? What are those specifics? Who needs to be involved? Can you schedule it at the end of the call before the call is up? And then finally, what else do you want to learn from the account? What else can you advance account? This is much more important in an enterprise sale, B2B sale. If you're looking to develop a relationship with a customer, you're learning more about the enterprise, then what else can you learn from that conversation? And how can you weave that into that? That may be one of your objectives. It may be tertiary. And then once it's all done, write it up. What went well? Any surprises? What did you learn from the account? And then what did you learn specifically about the client? If it's B2B, if it's an enterprise sort of sale, a big part of your whole role is developing relationships and understanding the people and what drives them, what their motivators are to do the work. That's a quick walkthrough on a planning worksheet that I've been using and I've had to use for a specific engagement. I thought you might find it useful. So if you have questions about it, ping me in the email or set up time. All right. Thanks.